Hello everyone, my name is Zyopelta and this video is about my fictional world called Goiavol. For a long time now, I have been interested in spec evo and fantasy, and I wanted to make a world of my own that would mix those two interests of mine. Goiavol is a planet in my fantasy spec evo setting, with it being an equivalent to Earth, both in climate and paleontology. But two main factors are different. First is that the events that influence the global climate are less dramatic and abrupt, allowing some animals that couldn't survive on Earth to thrive and diversify. The second difference is the presence of magic that is channeled through fungi-like organisms that are known as gods and godlings to local peoples. Goiavol is split into three main continents: the Northern Continent, the Eastern Continent, and the Western Continent. The Northern Continent has fauna and flora comparable to Eurasia and North America of Earth. The climate is more arid and cold compared to the other continents. It is also the most affected by seasonal change, with most of the northern continent being behind the polar circle and being shrouded in night for almost half a year. The eastern continent is the warmest and most humid continent, covered by vast rainforest. Its biosphere is like that of South America and Australia of our Earth. And the Western continent is the most magical, with its history being shaped by its now gone inhabitants. The oldest civilization on the planet, who experimented with magic, and it seems to have caused their end. There is also the Central Sea, which is technically a continent, but it is mostly submerged. This is a paradise for many ocean-dwelling creatures, but the fact that it is a continent makes it much more shallow than other parts of the ocean, causing the biggest creatures to not be able to live there. This video will be focused on the owlbears of Goiavol. Owlbears in Guyaval are descended from Lystrosaurus, an early Triassic herbivorous synapsid. And you might be wondering how could this effective and dangerous predator be descended from this clumsy and herbivorous animal that was outclassed by this strange Triassic fauna? And I am happy to answer. It all starts in the early Triassic with Lystrosaurus. Lystrosaurus was one of the species to survive the end-Permian extinction. After the extinction, it started diversifying into many subspecies. One of the descendants started pushing the digging lifestyle of Lystrosaurus to new heights. This required adaptations for stronger bite, and that was achieved through enlarging the sagittal crest for more muscle attachments, but also required stronger jaw joint, which in Lystrosaurus was pretty loose. One of the other adaptations that came with subterranean life was smaller body size. Average length of individuals was between 35 to 40 centimeters, and the maximum reached 50. Later in the Triassic, this subspecies evolved into the clade Lystrodontia. We will be focusing on the species Lystrodon, which is the clade's namesake. Lystrodon has adapted to live mostly underground. Its diet changed to more tough plants, roots, and occasional small insect. Its lifestyle led to the jaw joint strengthening even more. Surprisingly, its crest shrunk a little bit. Probably the cause was it getting too much in the way when in tight places. It also adapted to have some teeth in the upper jaw for processing food. And it adapted to have a thin coat of fur for isolation. This clade survived and diversified during the Mesozoic. but after the end Cretaceous extinction, they still more or less resembled the basal form. But that changes during the Cenozoic, with the emergence of the order Rhychodontia on the northern continent. This order adopted a more carnivorous lifestyle, with them less relying on their burrows and starting actively hunting. Some even took up an arboreal lifestyle in the branches of trees. They in many ways resembled the mustelids of our time. This niche led to adaptations for carnivorous and hunting behavior, like elongated jaws, sharpened teeth, and longer fangs, more binocular vision and endothermy, for more active lifestyle. Also, adaptations for stronger bite force and bigger mouth opening angle, with their fangs adapting a function like the fangs of saber-toothed cats. In the modern day, the order Rhychodontia finds a great success in the northern continent. It's split into many families, with some staying in the more basal niche and others diversifying, like the family Zyopelta, who adapted not exactly for apex predator roles, but that isn't because they aren't capable predators. It is because Guyaval is more akin to prehistoric of Earth than the modern day, with the apex predators far outweighing the polar bear. And when we are on the topic of polar bears, some members of this family can reach comparable sizes. The rest of this video will be focused on one genus in this family, Zyopelta. Zyopelta has sharpened senses compared to its ancestors, better sense of smell and completely binocular vision. Its diet is now mostly comprised of meat, but in the summer months they supplement it with nuts and berries. The hunting lifestyle has prompted some facial adaptations for stronger bite force, and that is enlargening the crest with muscle attachments and shortening the face a little bit. The fangs are also longer and thinner because they do no longer use them for digging, and use only their front legs for that. That allowed the fangs to be better adapted for hunting. Also, because of the colder climate, its before thin fur became much fluffier. In this video, I will go through a life of Zyopelta from an egg to adulthood. Everything starts black. When a new life emerges. First thing the hatchling sees is the complete darkness of the burrow. As he takes his first shaky steps, he feels the warm and fluffy environment of the nest around him. He feels something grabbing him behind his neck. And as his father takes him out of the burrow into the open plains, the sun shines brightly. The mother is away hunting, and she will bring a share back that will be his first meal. In the coming days, his siblings hatch too, and they will stay around the burrow for about a year. Parent Zyopeltas feed their young only for about 3 weeks. After, the young must start hunting and scavenging for themselves. The young serve the niche of a small predator, hunting small mammals and bugs, occasionally scavenging a bigger meal. When they are around 1 year old, they start to be more independent. Though they still inhabit the same territory as their parents, they won't be protected by them anymore. When they are about 3 years old, they reach sexual maturity and in most cases are forced to leave the pack and form their own. The packs consist of 3 to 5 mating pairs. The pairs are for life and are formed right before the mating season. Most commonly, young Zyopeltas create pairs in ages 4 to 6 years old. Mating ritual begins with Zyopeltas all meeting in one spot. Then the ball begins. This means that males and females start to pair up and perform their mating dance. The dance includes the showing of display features. Males show the size and quality of the front leg quills. First are the front leg quills, showing off their hunting prowess. Next are the head quills. The quills on the crest are meant to emphasize its size, and the back quills are used during hunting. The dance also involves standing on the hind limbs to show its sentinel behavior used during guarding the nest, because Zyopeltas have similar behavior to meerkats. After both partners accept each other, they begin to look for their pack. When forming the pack, no ritual is present and it's more or less just pairs joining together. When the pack finds their own territory, each mating pair digs their own burrow next to each other. They lay eggs in clutches of 5 to 6. Zyopeltas share their parental responsibilities, with males and females altercating between protecting the burrow and hunting for food. Now onto the topic of Zyopelta hunting. Zyopeltas have a pretty complicated pack hunting behavior, with one member from each family going onto a hunt. One member of this sort of hunting party is appointed the role of leader, who is the first one to attack the prey. Zyopeltas are pursuit predators, focusing on mid-sized herd herbivores. So the leader only scares the prey and kind of guides it in one direction, where then the rest of the pack joins in and tries to isolate the sick or the young individuals who are not that strong as the rest. And here their back quills come into use, because Zyopeltas can actually store static electricity in their back quills and can use it during hunting to irritate and disorient their prey. So when a weaker member of the herd gets separated, the Zyopeltas finish them off by biting through their windpipe with their pseudocanines. The spines work through the process of collecting static electricity. So when the animals aren't hunting, they indulge in social grooming behavior. This behavior is shared between all members of the pack, not just in the family. Other social behaviors like play fighting are much more common in the juveniles as a way to teach them how to behave when they are adults. The parent that isn't hunting watches over the young and makes sure that no predators can get to them. Zyopeltas live and hunt in open forests and steppes of the northern continent. They live up to the age of 15 to 20 years. They can go weeks without food, though juveniles need to eat more often. And to finish this off, some more real talk about how I want to lead this channel into the future. Through the process of making this video, I have realized that this really isn't the style I want to continue with. I do want to continue making spec evo content, but this poor quality pseudo documentary isn't really my style. So in the future videos I would probably expect more experimentation with how I will lead this project. Yeah. So have a good one. If you liked the video, press like and maybe subscribe. That's cliche thing to say. Uh, yeah, and have a nice one.